Here we go with March. Bravo, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you too, man. We haven't really Zoomed a lot lately. I know we've been busy. I know. I know, man. Your voice is a little different. Yeah, I know. Man, yeah, we had that go around our house. That's what's funny, man, is you go somewhere and be like, hey, my son's running a temp, and they're like, it's like, guys, there's 1,000 reasons why I have a temperature. I mean, right? But yeah, but here we are, man. We're live, we're working, we got the tech right today. Proud of myself for that. You know? Yeah. I actually didn't mess it up. I was just telling you. Another topic. It takes me a while to learn, but once I do, I'm dangerous. Right? Story of my life, man. Story of my life. Like, yeah, it takes me a while. Well, okay. The Qs are here. Hey, guys. Good to see you guys. So, your brother taught me, tried to teach me how to hit a draw. I'll never forget. We were at the driving range. Yeah. So this is we were on that trip, and it was just me and him on the range. And he was on his phone and everything, but he would like give me the snaps and whatever, and I'm like, he's like, hit it from the inside. You gotta hit, and I like. It probably took me 3 years to learn how to hit a draw. And I was trying, and I would hit it harder and swing harder and hit it harder, and somehow, some way, I woke up one day. And I realized, I'm like, if you want to hit a draw, you make the ball spin to the left. That's what makes it draw. And as soon as I hit, I don't know what happened, but as soon as that occurred for me, as soon as I thought, okay, make the ball spin left. Oh, well, that means the club has to come way down from in here to over there. Okay, dude, it was like the light bulb went on. Instantaneously, and now I can hit amazing, not like you and not like a lot of our friends, but my draw is not bad. And I don't have monster slices anymore because my club path naturally comes at least straight, but mostly from the inside. And I can draw my clubs. But now I finally learned how to I know what a slice kind of feels like, right? When I know where the club, I intuitively can feel I need the club to come this way, and then on a draw I'm I need the club to come this way. But that's just what we were talking about with trading, right? Is it took me a long time to really get it, but as soon as I did, light bulb was on. I'm kind of good, right? But your brother was so frustrated with me, man. Man. Yeah, it was because he was just, it was great. But hey, no, we're not here to talk golf shots and another taboo, but that was, I think it is important, at least for everyone to understand how they learn, right? I was just telling you, my entire life, man, no matter what it is, whether it's mathematics, whatever, it takes me a while to really get it. I can get facts and figures, that's fine, but to really understand something, how to hit a draw, to understand a concept, I'm more of a deep learning person, so once I finally get it, then I got it for life. But it takes me a while normally. I'm a little bit slower for some reason than probably the average on really, really I guess maybe it's a belief, right? I don't know what it is, but I'll have to think more on that. But yeah, you just have to know that about yourself, and that's what we were just talking about the trading game. I'm going through it. I'm a little frustrated, and so we talked about some rules, and I'm gonna try some different things. But hey, man, let's hold on, Bravo.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, I had you turned way down. But thanks, guys. They said they couldn't hear Bravo, so
yeah, well,
there we go.
I'm just over here.
Didn't have you on mute, but for some reason I had the volume all the way down. So You should be good
Next
there.
time we will get that right.
I think I had
Yeah.
there you go. I had you piped up pretty loud, but next
Uh-huh.
time we'll have that right. We'll get flawless tech execution. So do you want to see some interesting stuff that I was looking at, dude?
Please, I am desperate for something interesting in the market.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, let's see. Okay, check this out. See this
Yeah.
candle? Okay.
Mhm.
This is the SPX daily, and we look at equities a lot because the correlation, etc., risk on, money flow. You know, is money coming? Are we coming? You know, is it going into like debt, treasuries, commodities, safety, or is it coming back into equities? It's been really interesting the last couple days. Obviously, we had the bounce up from the bottom, very explosive move up. This was last week. So far this week has been pretty choppy, but this bar and yesterday's video I commented and noted, hey guys, this isn't closed yet, but this candle is below the EMA8, which is, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but if you hang below it, and it can be a bearish sign. So today we had a reversal, and one thing to kind of look at is this bar now sits above these other bars. That's bullish. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign for at least we're probably not crashing, we're not crashing down, at least right now, or for the near future, but that we might have a chance at climbing up these fibs, right? So that's what's what I'm optimistic about right now, is that today's daily action in equities is bullish. And so
yeah.
I think we could see more continuation in Bitcoin as a result. Now, what's also interesting is that we have a couple days in here, we had kind of decoupled. So it was on this candle, the one with the wick in here. This was the day that Bitcoin just pumped to the moon, right?
Yep.
This daily was red for a while. It did close green, but it was a red day. This is 2 days ago now. It was a red day, and Bitcoin was on a tear. And so that was some pretty serious decouplage. But anyways, they are tied together. It's not 100% correlation, but they are tied together. In my opinion, it's like risk on, risk off thing. So another thing I'm watching is like for if we're looking at like signals or whatever, like I talked about being under a daily buy signal from here on a break and break of this. Yep. And then this RSI now above this RSI is kind of confirmation. So you have confirmation of continuation. More than likely you'll continue up from here. Now that you have this candle above this candle, you're printing a higher high, and RSI is above this level, right? So that looks good to me. Let's check out, I think this is our overlay, or I may have blasted it. I changed up my charts. Yeah, I think I blasted it. I could rebuild it, but the line chart overlay, it would be interesting to look at that. Maybe I can do that tomorrow. But anyways, equities are green. All right, looks like they can hear you now, buddy. So we're good. Equities green.
Sweet. Hey, everybody.
Bitcoin chopping around. Let's look at this pattern we'll take a look at the fractal, and then this pattern. So this is
let's do a little macro view of Bitcoin.
Okay, let's do it. So first let's start.
Why not?
Well, let's take a look at the monthly, because we haven't looked at that yet, and we just closed a monthly. So it'd be good to look at that. We'll start at the monthly. And here we are. The monthly candle, this was February. So here's the thing. And there were a lot of people talking about this right before close, because we bounced in basically into close of the monthly. I'd have to go back and confirm it, but if I recall correctly, basically it took this monthly candle from an indecision candle. Let me draw it out for you. Okay. Before the close, our candle looked like that.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like, not the greatest thing in the world, kind of sketchy, a little nervous, right? Because that's an indecision candle. But the close was a nice bodied green candle. So it said, okay, so that move up, the bulls kind of saved the monthly chart. Well, I mean, it wasn't wrecked, but it was a good move. And so good to see that. So you get all these things lining up, right? You get the monthly chart, we'll look at the weekly, the daily, but then that fractal pattern, it's insane how crazy or how close we're following that. I mean, for so long, I've never seen anything like it before. But we've right on time, pumped, right in line with the fractal. If we follow it, we move again soon. But anyways, so monthly, let's look at this. I haven't looked at this in a long time. So monthly RSI bounced off the 50. You did a bunch of work, right, in equities, looking at. Yeah, I remember you telling me about the RSI.
No, in Bitcoin mainly. Bitcoin mainly on the weekly. Yeah.
I remember you telling me about this 50 RSI, and if we can hold it or bounce, it's bullish, right?
I did most of that work on the weekly. So let's look at where it is on the weekly.
All right, sounds good. But okay, note to self and everyone, RSI bounced off the 50. Of course, my settings are on 9, so I know it's faster than a lot of people, but for my charts, bounced off this critical 50 level, and now we're up. So, and now we're green so far in the month with 29 days to go here. But okay, that's monthly. Let's go to weekly. All right, so dude, if I were just to apply the IOSHI system here, I mean, you've seen it enough. You know how it works.
Man.
I mean, like, I translate this to daily, but, for a macro sense, and this is what we'll be doing as we go forward, right? But look, okay, let's start before that. Okay, what's that? This is just the easiest application of the system.
Yep.
I mean, like, granted, there's no other point here, but let's do that. And I know it's not going to get you way out at top, but okay. So you had for how many weeks, man, did you have an uptrend in RSI? And yes, you came down here and whatever, but if you include that as your second point and you project this line forward, you broke this RSI trend right here on this candle, and you broke price trend on this candle.
Good enough.
It's a sell signal on the weekly. It doesn't get stronger than that, right? So if I'm sitting here painting signals, as I do on most charts, I just go, tops, bottoms, tops. I'm just trend. It's a trend deal, right? Yeah. So you broke that. You broke down. Just like you broke down here too, but you broke down on the weekly. So now we broke up on the weekly back here. Came back, retest. I know not a lot of people people hate on trend lines, but I see them hold and test and be honored all the time. Anyways, backdrop down last week, retest this breakout trend line, and now we're bullish. So so the signal would be sell here on a break of price and a break of RSI, right? And a signal would be buy. Now, granted, you have to draw this, and that's why people hate it, is because like you have to keep drawing it, because the first line down here would be like that. Anyways, you had what gives me even more confidence. You had an RSI come from 75, break down below my 65 level, and then you had an RSI reset. And people in the Telegram hear me talk about resets. So when your RSI, I want to see a reset. I look at like the 1 hour chart and the 4 hour chart all the time. And I'm like, I haven't really reset, because what I like to see, the best trades in my book are from top cutting down and from bottom cutting up. And if I don't get a reset, I call this like trading intra-trend and get pretty risky. But this one, in my opinion, more confidence, right? Okay, so we reset the RSI, we broke up, we broke RSI trend, we broke up, now we're holding trend, now we have a higher low. So we have a low, a high, a higher low, and now what we need to do next is to make a higher high, for this to continue up. So that's sort of the weekly assessment on the chart. And this is
you want to know something interesting?
Yeah, what's up?
Is that if you went back to maybe our first live stream, we were just the RSI was just breaking below 50. This is where I was I did all that work just to see the historical significance of all that. And we both predicted, look, this thing might dip down and then maybe come back and try to touch 50, but more than likely, I think we called a level of 47 or 48, which honestly, this is the first time I've looked at the macro on this in a while.
Yeah.
Like it would retest that area. And then historically speaking, when you break below 50 after an uptrend, you get a significant, downtrend in price. Look what happened. It's almost like clockwork. And now look at where the RSI is now at 48-ish, right? If we could pop above that and close a week above that, I think that's really bullish.
It is, man. So if you don't, if you're busy watching the tick by tick or the 5-minute chart or the 1 minute, like if you just zoom back, like you were just saying, go to the weekly. Okay, what is the weekly telling you? And I'm gonna go back and listen to our first or second live stream, because I'm really interested to see what we were saying. But yeah, here we are. We broke it down, right? We came back, could not break it up. I mean, the weekly. I mean, here this is like the granddaddy map of the market, right? This is kind of all you need to know, right? You break down, you break through, you made a lower low through 50 here. You looked at a lot of stuff. We break 50, pretty bullish, or sorry, pretty bearish. We couldn't reclaim it. Had to come back and retest it. I'm sorry, reset it, right? So we got an RSI reset. Now look where we are.
Dude, I'm telling you.
That's it, man. So this breaks this, it's bullish. We're back.
Yes. I think I'm just looking at it right now. I think it's very bullish.
Yeah, so what I'm looking for then, we talk about like fractal, yada, 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 right? That's great. However, I always say like, we'll be watching the charts, right? And that's what that means is this. And probably more so on the daily, but what we should do is commit to on the live stream is to covering the weekly every week. Because this doesn't miss, dude. I mean, if we were 100% behind the controls in the cockpit, piloting our own deal like we are now, right? I want to believe that when I saw that and that, I'd be cutting all my positions. I mean, like, I'd be looking for, a bounce back, alts, whatever, maybe alts get some liquidity after the Bitcoin top, whatever. But I'm like, every day I wake up and say, you are on a sell signal on the weekly. You are on it, right? Like, you need to know that flag is waving high in the air.
Yeah.
Conditions are sell signal on the weekly, sell signal on the weekly, right?
And look at it now. You are rapidly approaching a buy signal.
Right. No, right? You have it. You have it. That's in my book, a break and break. Yeah. So in my book, so now I wake up every day.
There you go.
That's why I wake up and I'm like, is this? I'm like, well, the bottom line for me is the conditions in the market are showing signs of bullishness. Now's the time to be risk on. In my world, right? For my portfolio in my world is the time. It's time. This is the time to be risk on. The time to be risk off, unfortunately, was November 15th. Right, or the week after.
So, like, knock a hole in this theory if you want. But let's just say you're day trading, or just trading in general, not day trading. But let's say you see this signal on the weekly, and let's say you do day trade, and you do the intraday trades, various time frames, whatever. But in my world, I'm more conservative than you are, probably. I would say, like, okay, so I see this obvious signal. What if I take a bigger trade size and put it on for a weekly buy signal, and then layer my trades intraday and make it much lower because this signal is so strong? I mean, is that something that you would agree with?
I think so. Yeah, sounds about right if I understand it right.
Yeah. I just mean putting on a trade that you might just let ride, right? Like if you saw a weekly signal, like, hey, look, we have a trend reversal. I'm going to put a bigger trade on here and just let it sit.
Yes. That's what I would call a core position. Okay, like my core position would be, and granted it's like, just 8 weeks or whatever. It's not a lifetime retirement plan, but it's like, my I'm core short here. So I would be net and core short here on the signal. So now I would be net and core long, right? So yes, this is the time until you get a sell signal, until, like, let's say this, whatever. We follow fractal, we get a top, and then we break down. Right here. Guys, sell signal on the weekly. I am core either out or short. Right?
So, and it's hard, but like, and we've both seen this a million times. Like, it's really hard to trade the weekly chart. But what if you did? I mean,
what if
there would be way less action
like
for you.
Your master map. Well, this is more like, are you in the market or are you out of the market? Right? Like,
right, sure.
Do you want to ride this again? Right? Do you want to ride the summer again? Or does anyone want to ride it down from even Thanksgiving or November to now? Like, no. Like, why would
And
you?
I wonder.
Like, we all
Yeah,
saw like massive amounts of our portfolio get vaporized here, or just go away. And there's like, if you follow the map, you don't have to do that, right?
So
So
we
you have
know.
to trust it. You have to trust it and act on it.
And you know the signal, like your signal, is stronger as the time frames go up. But you can't really like trade a monthly. It just takes too long. But like, what if? Okay, what's a better strategy? What if let's just say you took 100 grand and that was your bank, like that's what you started with.
Yeah.
Would you do better off over the course of a year trading weekly trends with your signal, or like we were talking about before, like trading a 5-minute chart over the year? Like, where are you going to be more successful? Maybe you only put on 5 trades a year. Is that better than trying to trade a 5-minute or a 15-minute chop zone? I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about it.
The answer to that lies in, like, you don't know, you have to test it, and you have to also know what works for you. So,
like what system? How good is your system? Like, what are your rules? Like, all that
exactly. So part of this is like, what are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable with long-term trades, probably big potential drawdowns, you know, more of a swing style, or like some of these guys that I have learned from and watch sometimes, like their whole game is they trade the open on equities, and they trade the 2-minute chart, and they got really good at that one skill, and they're really good at it, and their whole game is in and out of the market in 30 minutes or an hour maybe. And and these guys, I don't know what, you know, like whatever, I mean, like it's scalable, but I watch some of these guys because I've been in their rooms, you know, is they'll pull, you know, 3 to 5 grand a day and be like, that's my day. I'm done. Guys, see you later. I'm gonna go hang with my family now. And those are the guys on YouTube and Reddit, whatever. They're like, trading is freedom and gives you whatever. You can do whatever you want, make all this money and whatever, and live the life. And you're like, I want to do that. But you have to like, honestly, like I tried that too. And it was that's the keyboard system I was talking about, like Alt B and Alt C and where's my stop. And then the setup was like everything just scrolls in on the right hand side of the screen. And like, I didn't stick with it long enough to try to get the hang of it, because I was like, I just bust out every day, because they had like automated loss limits, like here's your account, and if you do well enough, whatever. But it was like, you can't lose more than this per day or whatever. I'd always limit down like way too fast and be like, oh, whoops, you know, like that happened way too quick. And so it's playing with fire, right? So like, yes, there are fire, you know, like there are people that are good at that. And so you have to understand, in my opinion, my perspective would be, or my advice would be, you have to understand what you are comfortable with and what you can handle, right? So is it the 1 hour chart? Like for me, I think that's probably my jam, is 1 hour. 5 minute, I get real. It still moves pretty fast for me, and it chops. Like the chop on, I've said this a zillion times now, but the chop on the 5 minute throws me off a lot, and it makes me question all my assumptions and everything. And then I have 2 competing voices in my head that I have to battle, right? So I have the voice in my head that says what I think and what I believe and what I feel, and I have the voice in my head that says, no, this is the system says do this, and those are in conflict a lot. And the problem is that some, you know, like too often I'll listen to what I think and believe and feel, and then I get wrapped around the axle, right? So that's what I have to learn, and then that's when I back up and I say, okay, stop. Like, let's go back. We're gonna only do this on 1 hour, and we're gonna take pure signals, and then you're gonna set and forget. And I'll show you guys in the 1 hour what I would do. But that's what I would say, and what most people say. And this goes for like trade management too. Like even when your trade is in your favor or winning, then they say, like, how do you manage your trade? There's 15 different I've studied or looked at 15 different trade management or approaches, right? Bar by bar, pivot, there's another way. So like as it moves even in your favor, you move your stop, or you don't, based on what your system is. And so if you're doing like a longer term pivot style, you may have to wait 5 or 6 candles for it to get to the next level, to where you might take a little bit of profit or put a stop. And you have to know, are you okay with that? So what I mean is, your stop is behind you, right? So whatever trade you're in, your stop will be against you. So that's like your max loss, or that's your risk. And so like you are not even guaranteed to walk away with said profit on said chart that shows you what your P&L is, you have to like sit there and be like, I don't move my stop until it goes here. And you're like, are you okay with that? Because not a lot of people are, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be okay with like letting it go out and be like, hey, if I get a couple bars back against me, I'm not doing anything because my system, I have to adhere to my rules, and we just have to sit here and we put a trade on and all. So like how this works is, or it's supposed to work, is you take a trade and you have your decisions are done once you're in the trade. That's how it's supposed to be. I know you can kill it, whatever, but the way the pros do it is you wait for setup, you take a trade, you have entry, you have stop loss, and then you have your trade management rules already defined. And so the trade is either a winner or a loser. And then statistically, hopefully your system and your rules are good enough that you're 60 to 70% profitable. Or you can go lower with higher win loss ratio. But you basically have made all your decisions before the market, then the market moves. Like you don't control the market. Right? Like you don't force it to do what you want it to do. The market does what the market does, and you have no control of that. The outcome, you have to actually believe the outcome is actually random as a slot machine, right? But that your system gives you the edge, and while you have the edge, so that after a series of trades, like say 20 groups of 20, then you'll have, say in 20 you'll have 12 to 14 winners and 6 to 8 losers, and hopefully your losers are smaller than your winners, and then you're profitable. So that's the systems approach. So that's I guess a long-winded answer to that, but it's like, yeah, what are you? And some people are like, look, like I'm busy with my job and my family, and all I want to do is I want to sell. I'll buy Bitcoin on a breakout, and I'm going to sell it here, and I can like. So on the weekly, what would you do? Say you bought it down here, whatever. Sell your Bitcoin up here, buy it back here. I don't know, but this is quick, a little bit quicker. You could do a little bit of action there. You haven't really broken this level down, but they sell it here, buy it here. You're like, well, I just made like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so 7 trades in a year and a half. A lot of people can handle that. Like, hey,
and some of those can be massive winners.
Yeah, because you're like, is it time to buy Bitcoin or is it time to sell Bitcoin? Well, let's look at the chart.
Right.
And so like a lot of people are. This would be like, I don't know, people that aren't into reading charts all the time. Just like, is it the time to buy or time to sell? And whatever. But yeah, Baba's here. Thanks for being here, Baba. Thanks for joining us. What's up? So okay.
I think it's time to. I think it's a buy signal right now on Bitcoin.
It is.
I do. I mean, perhaps up to 55 or 58. Yeah. So again, man, like I'm guilty like everybody else. I don't look at the weekly all the time. I mean, just I'm busy. So like I'm looking at it right now. It looks great.
But yeah, we just covered, man. You have this now. The RSI is higher than that point, and if we can break that level right here, we got a buy signal on my system, whatever. Buy signal breakout. Maybe we need to clear some levels in here, like 40. This 43.5 level. We keeps coming back to 43.5, but for this 43.5, this candle range right in here, and this pivot low over here. Yeah, we break that. I think we get 46 pretty quickly, and then 46 breaks. That's to 51. And then 51, and then you're 618 at 55. So, yeah, that's the macro view, in my opinion, of the market right now. Is we are under weekly buy signal, we're under daily buy signal. The RSI is up. We're breaking out on we broke out. But we're trying to break through. It looks good. Then we have the fractal pattern that we know about. If next levels are 43.5 and 46, this area, and then to 51, and then it takes you to the 618 or 702 at 55 to 58. Right,
man. I could easily see a close at 382 this week. Like that seems logical to me.
Man, I could see it like today or tomorrow. I mean, if we follow the fractal,
sure,
granted, whatever.
It's gonna pop, right?
But and that's what I actually was expecting earlier. Well, we had that crazy candle action this morning. That was like, we'll look at it on the 1 hour when we get there. Okay. But back to the weekly, so the playbook right now, the IOSHI playbook is, Baba, we'll look at dominance. Because I know, and then, somebody, it may have been you, but somebody was asking about how to do that. No, it was AJ that was asking for. We'll try to calculate that. So yeah, on the grand picture, Bitcoin looks bullish. I'm bullish to here. I think so. The Aoshi playbook from here is likely a move up on a retrace back to these levels. Once again, we've talked about this a lot, but that we expect this. But the charts look pretty good. And we break this level at 43.5. I think the next level is 46. Then we go to 51, and 50. Then these fibs 55, 58. But let me show you something that I know a lot of people. I know. Before we get into the daily and other charts, I want to show you something. I haven't painted this in a while, but let's refresh it. So, two theories. One is, and I'll try to do this to where it's not too confusing. One is that this was a 2 on the L8 wave. Okay. Now I don't know about all this. It's whatever. Just bear with me. Sorry, did I say 2? I meant 3. One is this is a 3 and one is a 5. Okay. So there's either this is the top or it's not the top. And if this is not the top, then we have a new all-time high coming, and maybe that's, I don't know, end of this year or something. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Maybe it gets crazy like that. Maybe it goes up to 84 or whatever, 90, whatever, something like that. Okay. The other theory, so let's color that blue. And the other theory is that this was the top. So 1, 2, let's say 1, 2, 3. Now this violates because it's wrapped over. But let's just, however it's strong, whatever, we ended at a 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. The blue is that this was the top. It's 5. Okay. So how I was just explaining this to some friends or some people on the video before is basically, if we get a retrace here, in my opinion, and we will be watching daily charts, weekly charts, signals, all that stuff, right? For our own protection and for the group. But on a retrace, back, let's just mark it. Well, I'm not going to mark up the chart too much. On a retrace back to, I'll start with ABC, back to 55, 58. So let's say that something like, I don't know, maybe this is A. Let's just pretend it is. Doesn't matter. Okay. Let's say that is our A and that's our B and we're getting a C. Okay, so that is the retrace of the condition that this was a 5. Okay. Yeah. So tops in, here's the theory. Tops in, this is just a retrace in a bear market. Okay, what does that look like? That would look like more like A, B, C. Okay?
Yep.
All right. That's one theory. Okay. So tops in, this is ABC correction, and then we're going down. Okay? The other theory is that we're in a 5th wave, and we have a new all-time high. Okay? So if that were true, let me show you how this could look. You would get impulsive waves up to 5, right? 1, 2. Maybe we touch this high, get rejected, fall down, blow off. Okay. The whole point of all this is that at this point, no matter which theory, unless you have another theory that you think it's up only forever, right? If between these two theories of a 5th wave needs to still happen, you're going up, you should have 5 waves in it, or tops in and your ABC down. Okay. Either way, you see how either scenario you don't want to participate in this unless you're short. That's it. That's what I try to explain to people. As I say, it doesn't matter which scenario it is. More than likely, if we print a retrace here and we fall down, it's either a C leg in the bigger ABC of a bear market or whatever, however it's going to be, or it's wave 2 of a 5 wave up of 5. So for me and my family and my portfolio, on a signal, let's say it's weekly, that's pretty easy, right? On a signal, I'm out, or maybe short. I might be core short, and and just wait. You can just sit here and You need to just go on vacation and chill out. And then we'll look at conditions. If we get down here, here's what I would say. If after this happens, and that happens, and we get down here, and we get a signal, because we'll be watching it, right? If we get a weekly buy signal like we're getting now, it's like, guys, we might want to take some risk here. Because there is a theory that this is a part of a larger market cycle, and alts. Two things. Alt season could happen here, or it could not, on our retrace. And if it doesn't, it may have to wait until the final top. And we've talked about this before.
Yep.
Either way, and this is why when you and I talk privately or on the side, whatever, this is why we call it get what you get. Right? So this is a get what you can get moment for me and my portfolio, is whatever happens. If alts just trail with Bitcoin, but it all starts to break down, and you know, like I need to take protection here. I will take protection here. And if that does play, then perhaps we get alts, one big dip in the whole market. Alts get really cheap again. Everybody gets really scared again. And that's your point of maximum opportunity right there. And then you ride alts up in a major way from here to end of cycle. And then you get to blow off and everything. So we'll have to see. But that's how I see it. But my whole point is either scenario, this looks like a high probability area to get defensive. Meaning sideline, whatever, right? So that's how I would paint that out for someone that I would try to just explain to them how I see waves happening and how I see the structure. Of course, like I said, all along the way we'll be watching for these signals. And when you get stuff like breaks, and I'll at least be like, hey, whoever here and wants to trust the IOSHI system, like we just went sell on the weekly, we went buy on the weekly, right? Like that kind of stuff. So that's that. But that's
take a look at that. Look at those weekly, like right where your sell signals are. Look at those candles. Like it's obvious, right? They're massive red candles, typically that break through that uptrend.
Well, because
and
like,
give you the signal. It's like,
I mean, we probably had like MA cross breakdowns, all this stuff, and it's like, guys, the market's signaling that there's a lot of people selling here, right?
Plus, there's other things too, right? Like you get a double top, you get smaller candles, you get all kinds of stuff happening up there that should be all those red flags, right?
Yeah. Your number of check boxes on the bearish side will be like, and then even here, remember 702, we just kissed the 702. We just kissed 702. Is it a top? Well, yeah, it was. You know, so that kind of stuff. I mean, like 702. Let's just say we get assume we get a retrace, and assume we go up here and we drop and we get that, lower time frame, maybe on the daily or something, or you say like, boom, right there, 702, right there, guys, just kissed 702 and it got rejected. Time to get out. Or I'm out. Like we all have to do for ourselves. We all control our own portfolios and our own destiny, right? But but I'll be here screaming like, guys, we just kissed and we just dropped, or these are all the signals that are bullish, or sorry, bearish, and what the market looks like. So anyways, but yeah, that's what I could see playing out. So we'll be watching closely. But yeah, it's interesting because when you back up, man, honestly, all you need is the weekly, right?
Man, it provides so much clarity, man. I'm telling you.
I mean, this is like, stop messing around with, I have nothing on the chart here. It's just candles. Like, stop messing around with everything.
Right.
Like, this is all you need. What are you doing? All these indicators, and you got your slick signal system, whatever. But I'm like, you break this trend on this.
Dude, it's so true. I mean, I don't even, like, you're probably at a 10x level of the amount of charts that you've looked at compared to me, and I've looked at a lot. But I can look at this chart and I can draw trend lines with my own bare eyes, right? And so can you. And it's like, I see the trend breaks, I see the points to get in and get out. Like, what are we doing over here on the on the 15-minute, like 5-minute?
We're too busy looking at this, man. Like, look, we're getting it.
Look,
Or even this morning's action, it's like, oh my gosh, it's we're gonna fall, we're gonna fall. Oh, we're screwed. We're gonna go to the moon right now. Here we go. Oh no, it's like
Yep.
this is golly. Give me a heart.
Dude, that's trouble right there. Look at that.
Give me a heart attack.
You know what that looks like to me? That looks like an EKG of my heart as I'm trying to like trade that.
Or my blood pressure as I'm watching it, right? It's like, oh, okay, we're good. Okay, oh no, we're not. It's like, stop.
Did we get a real time like blood pressure monitor on you on a 5-minute trade day? That would be fun.
You would want to see it. It would have strong correlation to the chart. It would have very strong correlation to the chart, especially if as my or my trading if I'm long or short, depending on that. So, but it would it would, because and that's the thing. You know, like so as you zoom in on time frame, it gets noisier, right? So we just looked at weekly. Here's daily. It's just a lot more candles.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a little bit harder to see because the picture's not as clear. Because it's a little bit noisier, right? So daily, then you go to 4 hour, then whatever. But yeah, here you're like, oh, well, look at these candles. Da, da. You're like, guys, weekly sell signal just rang off. So, you know, whatever. But yeah, so daily, I mean, not a lot different. What I want to show you was, we looked at this, and I think it was last week's live stream, maybe, because I think I showed it to you. I'm like, dude, that's right, because you were gone, and then you didn't have a chance to look at a lot of charts in this time period. But look, so we did look.
Oh yeah,
look at that 702 rejection.
Yep.
I mean, this is more data on the 618, but still, I think it was the 4 hour that you look at candle bodies that are sitting on it or kissed it. Yeah, these two got closer on the 4 hour. Anyways, so that's the grand. Okay, that was the week. We should cover the weekly sell and buy system signals on the live streams from now on. That was really good. And then we looked at the macro, kind of like the macro.
My favorite thing to do.
Yeah, kind of our macro assessment of the market. You know, because when I do videos during the week, man, I'll do like just different things. A lot of it's like max time frame is daily, but we'll just look at like what's going on, what's happening, and that sort of thing. But man, when you zoom out like that, it's really a nice perspective. So you know, that was macro. That was our view of the market. That's what our plans are, or at least my plans are for risk and exposure. And then, you know, but what are we expecting now? Let's take a look at our fractal. Let me see what chart I have it on here. Here it is. Let's go to so basically, like, we are cutting. I mean, let's do that. We are basically like, we could pump this afternoon, maybe right now. I mean, this is and things happen on our live streams. Funny enough, how like they just happen, right? So like we could just start climbing up here in the next, say, hour or so. I would not be surprised, right? So
me either.
Yeah,
at all.
We break out. Man, just the way that it's matching this thing is just uncanny, crazy. But because it hasn't always done that, you know, like we've seen it deviate, right? But like when we laid this over and it was like the drop and the response and the bounce, you're like, whoa, that was right on time. So if we hit right on time again, it will be in the next few hours. Wouldn't that be sweet though? Because here we are sitting. I mean, like, we've cooled off a little bit. Alts have cooled off a little bit. I do need to rebuild Bitcoin versus Total 3 line charts here, but you know, alts hung with, but really we haven't seen a lot. Although off bottom, this week we saw a lot of 10+% movers. You know, like, what was it? Waves? No, UMA was up 125% off bottom. So you saw a lot of that. Today we're not. You know, it's just cooled off. I was looking at FTM. So we look at Bitcoin fractal, the macro sense. Just want to make sure there's nothing left to cover before we kind of move on. But so I want to show you. Well, before we get there, let's look at dominance real quick, and let me see if we can do the math for Bitcoin total dominance. I want total 3 dominance, basically. So this is market cap Bitcoin dominance. I'm trying to even do some advanced thinking on the fly here. If I want to get dominance. Oh, it was Bitcoin and Ethereum dominance. I'm gonna have to think on that. But let me
For what?
if I want to get see, this is market cap Bitcoin dominance. What I want to get is market cap Bitcoin plus Ethereum dominance.
Plus Ethereum. Yeah,
so,
that'll give you that'll give you a better sense of
right,
the altcoin.
So I can there's a way I can do that is like market cap. So like I have maybe I'll have to do this on the side because it might take me a little bit. This so how I was thinking about doing it was how about no, that's total 3, not dominance. It's just a function, right? So total dominance is just a percent of market cap. So I don't know. I need to do a little bit thinking, not on the fly so much, but I think it's pretty easy. I think what you could do is I think it's total 3 divided by total. Let's try it. Oh wait, I have to do this. Total 3, and then I do the math. Divided by, watch this. Total. Whoops. I think that's it. Hit enter. I want to verify this because that's showing 37%. I think that sounds right, but I want to do some. I need to do some head scratching. I think that's about right. So it'll be interesting though if we have let's get a total dominance of alts. So let's take out Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we'll kind of get that done. But basically 2 charts here, dominance. Yeah, we do need this dominance. Well, I said we do need it to break. I think what's going to happen, honestly, is as we see it happening, this will naturally fall. So this will be more of an indicator, in my opinion, that the alts are moving, and we'll see it kind of like it all working together. We're going to see alts running. We're going to see this dropping. We're going to see maybe even Bitcoin and Ethereum actually move up, but like their dominance is fading because alts are surging. So yeah, like this does need to break down. I think, in my opinion, though, this is a derivative chart. So this is more of like it tells what's happening more in the macro sense. So we should be able to tell, like even Bitcoin and Ethereum are moving up, say on retrace, but alts are moving up faster. And we have a few things to look at that. One is this, the dominance. You'll see this drop. The Bitcoin dominance will drop. And then let's take a look at Bitcoin versus Bitcoin versus total 3. So and this Coinbase, it should be good. So how I build this here is basically turn this over to line chart. Bitcoin's blue, compare, plus, add total 3. Same percent scale. There we go. Change it to red. And this is daily, so what I'll do is I'll zoom in a little bit closer to see what's going on lately. I try to like pin these together at the bottom. So I want to see it off. I want to see off bottom. So let me zoom into 15-minute.
Yep.
Here we go. Where's the bottom? Back here now. Now I want to try to get that to match. So all I have to do is scroll left and zoom in a couple clicks. And then I put it left and they match. They match on the left. So yeah, what you're seeing is you're seeing Bitcoin lead. So off bottom, Bitcoin is up 25%. Total 3 as a group is up 18%. So, this is a Bitcoin run, but alts are catching up. And we've seen some alts like Luna. I think Luna is like at its all-time high now. It's crazy. You're seeing like off bottom pumps, right? So some of these coins are up a lot more off bottom than 18%. Of course, this is the average, right? So some are less. Like that's like if you look at XRP, man, XRP has not moved, fantastically up off the bottom. I mean, it's up. I think it's up from 60 cents, but that's where I think you still have some opportunities. I think in those charts, right? So this is total 3 versus Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin leading. I think if we do follow that fractal and move up soon, I think Bitcoin will continue to lead. And that's where I was showing, I think, on Monday's video. I was like, if we get a retrace and Bitcoin moves up, we may stall for a brief period of time and then get the final top, and then down here. I don't expect alts. I think alts may catch up and do a little bit better here, but I really don't expect alts to really move until here. That's sort of the relative chart. Is like alts would really separate here, and then on this break, and on correspond to about that timeline.
Sure.
On here is where you're like, okay,
sure,
okay, that's it, and then so you may have a lag too. So this may actually lag a little bit, something like that, right? So excuse me. So looking for that, not surprising again that alts are not. This is a Bitcoin pump, and as usual, it's leading the way. What else? Let's look at that was dominance. Dude, I want to show you FTM. That's FLM. Oh, I need a new chart. I was looking at waves.
Waves.
Yeah.
It's an oldie.
It is an oldie. Let's look at FTM. Because it was looking it still is looking pretty good. But look, on let's say even 4 hour, it broke out of this pattern, man. Right here, $1.80. And when we broke that, I was like, that looks good. And then, we have cooled off here a little bit, but we were above 207. So let's look at let's go, because if all this plays out and we get a retrace and things get exciting again, we're going to get into the mode of looking at alts and charts and levels, right? I'm really looking forward to doing that.
I know, we haven't done that in a long time, man.
I know. So that
we spent a ton of time, weeks doing that, trying to predict and
like CRV, golden zone. But I think you know what? If nothing else, all that work has prepped us for being ready now. So
I think I've got like a 50-page PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Well, charts. Yeah, and we've looked at
So this is like, what can FTM do? Realize, and I go back and look, and I'm like, FTM was a penny. FTM was 2 cents, man. So this is up 100x, man. Yeah. So yes, it's relative strength. I like it. I think, I did like it when we were up here, breaking up, because for a nice trade. Obviously, the whole market's down, but I think if we can have relative strength. But what are my expectations for FTM? I'm not personally. I mean, here's 4236 at 370. That's not. I mean. My whole point is, if you go past 370, you're past 4236. And so if you're sitting here saying I'm waiting for a $7 FTM, then you're waiting for an 8 fib, right? Or if you're waiting for an $11 FTM, then you're expecting a 13 fib. You just have to be aware of that, right?
And the second part of that is yes, it's possible they could reach out to that, but that would be an outlier move, right? That's the point. Majority of stuff gets to the 4236 or thereabouts, and that's it.
Exactly. And
majority.
And also it is a function, in my opinion, of whether we are in a kind of mid-cycle retrace here or is this a finishing move? Because if this is end of cycle alt season that things just go nuts crazy, then sure, I could believe a 13. But if you're if my macro is, if I'm saying that again, this 69 is not the top and we're just doing one of these and we get a higher high and alt season comes in up here, then I'm here, I'd be happy to see a 4236, right? So I don't know how to. I hope that makes sense. But you know what I mean?
I'm with you.
Yeah, if this is if this is mid cycle, and that's why I've always said that alts will tell us the way. This is what I mean by when I say that, is that when you see relative alts and their performance and how far they roll up on the fibs, and things like XLM, XRP, some of the classics, even Litecoin, whatever, as Litecoin is many times the finishing move indicator, is if Litecoin hits, maybe it doesn't go to more than its all-time high. Well, I would have a stronger conviction. If that's the case, then I would be more convicted that is likely, and so to prepare for that, right? More than, that's just all we've got in this cycle. And I'm well, let's watch the chart. But now is mid-cycle theory more likely? And so, Litecoin, you know, if it can finally make a new all-time high, you know, above its 420. So I think it was 420. So if it goes
Ish.
420
Yep.
and then even, you know, I guess up on the fib ladder would be over $1,000. And so if Litecoin goes to $1,000 on this move, then I'm like, guys, I think that's it, right? We're done.
Yeah.
If
Right. Yeah.
but if so yeah, if Litecoin doesn't, and let's just say Litecoin moves back up to, I don't know, today it's what, $110 or whatever. So let's just say it gets a 4x, which would be huge. But let's just say it goes to 253, something like that. It does kind of go up the fib ladder here, but not crazy. I'd say, guys, I think this was maybe not the finish, the end of cycle, perhaps, and we'll be watching obviously the chart, but perhaps, yes, new all-time high is in play, because I would then expect alts to get flush with liquidity and to slam up on the fibs. So it's kind of my theory, man.
I hear you. Yep. I like it.
So that's FTM. But yeah, I just noticed the break. Let's look at Luna. And I'm going to check the Telegram to see if anybody. Oh, okay. Up, down, or sideways. I think we covered that. But let's look at Luna. Because this is, and what was the other one that I said? Oh, UMA. In my video, as I said
Yep.
UMA. I'm like, guys, this is possible, and we'll look at UMA next. But this is, yeah. So basically, let's see. Where do I want to go here? No, I'm going backwards, but where are we on the fib? I mean, like, I don't know how to, just off first glance, how I would analyze this for sure, but I mean, basically, we can't say that's a 1. I think that's, I don't know. This isn't easy to chart because I don't see a full cycle, right? It's not as easy as some of like Litecoin, right? Because it has a full cycle in there, or even SHIB. But yeah, the fact that we have bounced this hard, let me just blast this so we can zoom in. So February 21st, and let's do this, might be interesting. Let's do a top and bottom on Bitcoin and Luna, because I want to see, now this is daily, take the stuff off, you can see it, blast it, clean it up. Okay. The cursors will run together here, but look, Luna started rallying right here. That's interesting. Good to know, right?
Wow.
It didn't wait. It didn't wait till after the bottom. It did fall. Look, so it rallied off its bottom, and I saw something on Twitter that was about a 200 MA. I think it was on the daily, but anyways, I think this did not break its 200 MA. Anyways, but look at Luna just took off on the low here and did not wait for Bitcoin. Interesting. I hadn't looked at that before. I would have thought that it would have been like the day after this low, but Luna was already running before. Huh. I don't know what that tells me, right? But like, it's just interesting. It's definitely an early mover, relative strength, early mover, almost back to all-time highs at, what was it? Remember when Luna was $100?
Oh.
People were scrambling to buy Luna at $100. But that's good to know. And let's look at UMA, man, because that one, I don't know why it's on my watch list. It somehow found its way there, but
mine too. I was wondering the same thing. I'm trying to figure out. I was looking at that.
We were looking at that. I don't know where it went. It just disappeared.
It's right there. It's right under your cursor. No, you had it. You're right on it.
There it is. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I went blind for a second.
Wow.
Yeah, just really out of nowhere, right? And I guess we could look at when it times with Bitcoin, but it's later than Luna. This is more of a.
Yep.
I called it on the video. I called it a rogue wave. You know, just like.
Yeah, it's a good point.
you can
Wow.
look at the chart, but look, man, this thing was looking not good at all.
Yep.
Broke down these levels, broke down this level, and then came down here and then pop, 125% off bottom. This is just the stuff that can happen at any time. But man, look, so Luna got down to $5, and what was its all-time high is up here at 45.
Whoa.
Yeah, wow. This what does this remind you of right here, man? OMG, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, OMG, yeah, very
Doesn't
good.
It look like OMG? Because remember when OMG did this, and actually the top was lower, it had a higher high, whatever, but peaked.
It's a very similar chart.
Peak, and then, man, it's so similar.
Yep, it is.
Again, not sure what value that is. But after you stare at charts and charts and charts and charts, you're like, oh, this looks familiar, right?
Man. Yeah, it also reminds me of just how painful it is to try to predict what's going to happen in crypto. Very painful.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, like, being a predictor.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It's painful.
I mean, who could predict a 125% move from UMA? Like, how can you predict that?
Yeah, you can't predict that. I mean, you can have a level out there that you're expecting in the future, and maybe on some fib level or something. But like, you can't. There's no way to predict that. However, I was thinking about that. I actually spent a lot of time in my past studying volume, and I had like a algorithm on Binance volume signals. So let's real quick before Glimmer here, back to UMA. Let's look at like the 5 minute, because I want to see if volume, you can see on volume coming in.
If it came in, yeah, sure.
Now it doesn't mean that.
Right.
It doesn't mean that's.
Sure, I'm with you. Just as an indicator. I have
seen it. That where you get
it looks
volume,
like
you get a volume outlier. Yeah. See on the very first candle. So if you let's zoom way out. Okay, so these levels on volume, that would be like, it would exceed anything from the prior whatever few days. Like, that's obviously the volume moved the price, right? So you could have also had like a price alert, be like, whoa, UMA just jumped 2% out of nowhere. Right.
Yep.
What you can't predict is, and it's going to rally hard, right?
Yeah, right.
Like,
sure.
I mean, you can't be like, and I know all this volume's coming in, but volume. Let me zoom in. I don't know how to. Well, actually, make it bigger. So on this preceding candle, it really wasn't that big. It doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't really precede. Well, because the volume moves price, right? So it's really, tied together. But that's what I was going to say. What I wanted to look at was how the volume look, because a lot of times when that volume starts coming in, especially when it's kind of outside the normal range of volume. Again, this is 5 minutes, so that's why I was trying to build something where it was more of like an alert system. But they have those now. You just watch for where the volume's flowing. But normally, honestly, normally it means you're kind of late. So if you have a system, you're like, okay, I watch volume, I'm gonna chase volume, and maybe you have a rule system or whatever that you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy the third candle, whatever, and expect, a 20% gain. I don't know, whatever, right? That's not my game. So that's the other thing we talked about. So that's like to the upside, right? You also can't. Let's go to like daily on Glimmer. Like on strength, I thought that, to me that looked like a decent safe, quote unquote safe entry. Yep. I'm in this for long term, and I never actually bought the rest of it. But after that, it's like you can't predict how far this is going to come, like with certainty. No one knows. Like people can say whatever, but like there's not a technically sound, valid way to say like, it's coming to $1 or $2, whatever, right? Like, yeah, we did come down to $2, and maybe like if you have I'm just looking at this candle body or whatever and saying we'll come to this part of it or something like that, or like you could just say it like it's going to $1, it's going to $1, but like with certainty, it's hard to catch bottoms, right? Like it's hard to be like this is it for sure, because You don't know that. And like I said on a couple videos, is the only way to know a top or bottom is after you've passed it. Right. So you have indicators
That's
and
right.
such, but like you can't like, is this the top? Is this the bottom? The only way you know that is if you pass it.
Good
So
point.
that's that. I still expect good things out of Glimmer. We'll see. But what else, man? We should look at have you looked at gold lately or silver? Because that was one of the things that I know you're like, no, I haven't looked at gold or silver.
Not really.
Commodity in wheat. Commodities have just gone nuts. This is daily.
Wow.
Let me see if I don't have wheat futures in here, but silver futures, same chart. You know, just I mean nothing crazy. We still haven't. I mean, like we got past this high point here, but yeah. So silver came off the bottom. It's just moved up from 20 to you know, big day yesterday, and that's where one of the guys in Telegram was saying, look at that 1 minute chart. But big move off the bottom. But what you're seeing is watch this, man. I'll show you the wheat chart. Just go to continuous. Wheat, I saw a chart on wheat. Look at that.
Wow.
Wheat's gone nuts.
Wow.
So you're seeing this. Oil, crude is up to 112 now. Look, crude chart. This is what I was.
Dang, man. Wow.
Look at that, just off the chart, right? So. This is, let's go to like the weekly on crude. So what's going on, like on the macro, it's just a flight to commodities, and well, for other reasons, right? Wheat, crude, you know, there's a storage issue, drawdown storage issue. Like IEA puts out reports on inventories and such. Like oil is very low, so it's not surprising that, you know, like obviously this is getting driven on speculation and geopolitical stuff, but also inventories are very low of reserves here in the States, and then. But you're just getting the parabolic move. But look at this move, man.
Wow.
Here.
That's unreal, man.
Down to negative 40, and then just straight pretty much up only. On the weekly. But yeah, live through that. Live there. Live through that. Live through that. Live through that. Fun times, man.
Wow. But, that's crazy.
So let's do a little chart analysis. What I was showing you, what I was expecting on crude was if we didn't break this top, it basically just did a fractal here and was looking for a breakdown. We broke down once, but didn't get a full signal, and yeah, it just went up only. But see, look, even on the daily, this RSI just kind of came down, kissed the
nice bounce
50 range and out. Let's go back to wheat. Wheat's a crazy reversal.
Didn't even get down there.
No. Wow. I mean, like, didn't get it, like, didn't even reset down here. Wow. And just straight up only. I'm not sure. I think this is 105, 1059 per bushel or whatever. I don't know. Whatever that is. But yeah, so we're seeing some crazy moves we didn't look at gold.
I just wonder how this will correlate to Bitcoin. I mean, it's interesting how these charts are taking off like this. And there's more, it's way less speculation in a real commodity, right, than there is in crypto. But I mean, you're talking about real supply and demand, and there is supply and demand in crypto, but I don't know. I mean, it's more speculative, right? I mean, the chart moves in a much bigger way, both directions.
Yeah, it's, you know, like there's a lot of volatility. I think that, you know, recently Bitcoin's followed equities a lot, right? But then you're seeing crazy moves in commodities. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. If we're seeing relative strength right now a little bit, or we are seeing equities move up a little bit, but you know, if you know, like if Bitcoin could, if wheat could do this, why can't Bitcoin and crypto? You know what I mean? Like just go parabolic, and why can't they? I mean, like they can. That's the thing. The market can do anything at any time. It just depends on the conviction of people. Like so. All of this is like everybody's rushing in to buy, you know, wheat and crude, and you know, whether it's futures or whatever for whatever reason. But this is just a massive move. Excuse me. But yeah, that's you know, crazy.
Well, I think it's interesting, man. I think we're at an interesting time in the chart. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's. I think we have some resolution coming quick. I hate to even say that, but it just
I think we
seems
do.
like there is. Yeah, it just seems like we're in that at that stage.
Especially if
Perhaps into retrace.
I
I hope
think,
so.
yeah, March, hopefully. You've been saying this for a long time that, February, whatever, ABC, didn't quite
Yep.
get up there to where I thought it would be an A point. But
Right.
we'll see. But yeah, hopefully we get a nice March and it's time to take some action. That's what I'm expecting, honestly, is and this is gonna be 3 to 4 weeks max if we follow the fractal,
Yeah.
right? So if this, which would be crazy,
Yep.
I know, but it's done it so far. And on the chart, it looks
Wow.
bullish on the weekly. And so we get one of these, and then alts go with, and then alts we get some separation. Now, I've said this before, but this is like what I believe and feel and think, right? And not what like the chart's saying. But like it's just, and the fractal doesn't go this far back, but if you go back to like this period in March, April, May of last year, now this is like a big run for Bitcoin. We had separation. Like I'm expecting something maybe closer to that, but not quite full blown. Everything goes to 4236 alt season yet. I don't know. I mean, we'll
Mm-hmm.
see. We have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
That would be more, in my opinion, this would be where this is like, oh, we're not quite end of cycle, blow off, so we have to make a correction, come down here, and then we finally run. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Right. I mean, we just let the chart tell us what to do. Really, that's it. I mean,
That's
I
what we
think pay
do.
a little bit more attention to that damn
Yeah.
weekly chart, man. It's like
Yeah,
we
and
forget
just
about
like,
that too often.
I know you and I go back in time, right, man? And we're studying the heck out of this stuff like for a long time. And we were looking at this, looking at 702, but you and I both weren't at that point with our conviction in our portfolios to take our own action, right? Because we were listening to
Yeah.
people, right? Whatever. I have to get into that.
Sure.
But I'm like, yeah, like not listening to yourself is my point. But now that's all I do is listen. I'll surf around, look for what people are saying, but like for me and my money and my portfolio is I listen to myself now, and so that's why I have the system and why we have these signals and whatnot. And like if this happens, I know what to do. That happens again, like I've stopped listening to others now since here, right? I listen to myself. I do what I feel is necessary, right? So like, yeah, this happens again, I'm out. Like we just painted,
Yep.
right? So it's like, nope, I'll take this, no matter what. Because in like, and not just who you're listening to, whatever, right? But like, laser eyes, diamond hands, right? Everybody's calling for 100K, right? No one's. I mean, like, if you were calling for a breakdown and get out of the market right here, like you're crazy. Like I've sold everything,
Yep.
guys. Like here too. Well, you're crazy, guys. Alts haven't even really pumped yet. Like, what are you doing? You're crazy for getting out. Well, my system says to get out, so and I trust it, so I do. That's where you and I know, and hopefully people here in Jedioshi too can get to quickly. But like for you and I, it's like, no, dude, you're long and you're short.
Yeah, man. We
That's
closed
it.
that candle where it is. I mean, that's just it's a very encouraging signal, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. On the weekly, we're above that. We're above this pivot.
Oh yeah.
We're above this. So this level. See, that was prior resistance. Look, prior support. This is weekly, so it's nice. Prior resistance.
Yeah.
You got a red close. This is actually a candle pattern.
That's a very significant level that we're at right now, for sure. We close above that, and I think it's I think we could almost say we're in retrace, but crypto has a way of just slapping you in the face right when you think you know what's going on
all time frames, right? Like
yes, sure.
In the lower time frame, the harder the slap in the face.
That's
harder
right.
the punch in the face. And that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I always have a plan. I have a plan until I get punched in the face, and then I start.
That's Mike Tyson.
That's exactly right.
That's right, man.
And then I start listening to what I think, feel, and believe, and then things get wrapped around the axle, and I'm like, that's why I'm programming this bot, right? If I can program a robot to do what I know to do in the system, we're good. That's a money printer. We're good.
Yeah.
So
yeah, especially on these bigger time frames. I mean, if you go back and play out your system over time,
let's look.
You'd probably see that your success rate would be very, very high if you could just trade the weekly and just kind of follow your rules and just put on a trade every whatever when the actual trend breaks according to the system. I think you'd do pretty well.
Let's see it. Let's do one. Let's do this one. Some of these are like beta.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, like, I don't like that, but like, that's not a full signal, right? So like, but like that one. Okay.
Yep.
Green. You did get a red, but you didn't follow through with the green, right? So like, I need to make some mods here. Because like, if I'm just drawing it out, that's where I was talking about. Like, this whole thing is like, there's art to it. And there is some interpretation, right? So an automated system is only as good as its programming and whatever, right? So, but anyways, we did have it. But when you're looking at this, you're like, well, red here. Okay, we got a green. It's something, right? It's at least potentially significant. It's at least potentially significant. Now, like, we got a green, but look, like the indicators didn't come up. And this is based on Stoke. But we got a red here, so it's not perfect, and you get a lot of extra colors in here, especially when you go down to like on your time frames. So you'll get periods where you're like, well, like, this is decent, like, you know, buy, sell, I get it, buy here, you know, but sell, but I didn't buy here, so like, right, and then sell.
I would be looking. Yeah, I'd be looking at that weekly. I'd be watching that like a hawk, especially with your system on there and as you tweak it. But when those signals pop up on the weekly, it appears as though not perfect, but a lot of those are good. A lot of those were indicators, right?
Well, it's part of the story, I think, honestly, man. Like, the weekly is so static, like, meaning like it doesn't move much. Like, it doesn't take much to just draw it out. You know, like, I don't need to build an automated system to analyze the weekly and be like, hey, we broke this and RSI is up and we're breaking that. Like, long.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
And
just similarly on the short side too. When we see that, when you see a breakdown and you see a breakdown and you broke a trend and you break trend on the weekly, that's it.
Sure. Yeah, interesting stuff there, man.
Yeah, man. It's cool.
I love seeing that. I love seeing that RSI poking up by 50. I like that. If we break past there, man, I'm telling you,
we really could get going. Let me blast this. Let's look at that a little bit closer.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
So now again, this has 4 days and 4 hours to close. So this can move around with the candle. So it's not a closed RSI. But as we sit, above this pivot, that's nice to see that. Reset, we reset below, you know, either 30 or 35, whatever. Came back up. Now we're above this pivot. So we're not only here, we're now above the pivot point. That's nice to see. We break 50. I think, like, we break up here and if or when we follow the fractal or whatever and we break through 46, this will all come together and it should look pretty good. But that's nice and bullish. So when I sit back,
I'm going to go back and watch that first or second live stream we did too. Yeah, that's interesting.
I remember going through that too. But that's it, man. Unless you guys have any questions or comments in the chat or anything else, I think that's kind of a wrap, man.
Yeah, I think that's a good recap for sure.
Well, sounds good. Well, we'll wrap this up. Guys, thanks for being with us. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter for a DM and get you into Telegram. And that's about it. Thanks, and Bravo, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate it.
All right, you bet. We'll see you guys next time.